The round 5, Beerdsen, Thomas, van Batenburg, Mees round 5 witnesses a strategic French defense Wiener variation advance variation, as Beerdsen faces van Batenburg. On e4. On e6. On d4. On d5. Knight c3. Bishop b4. On e5. On c5. On a3. Threatening. On takes b4. On takes d4. Knight b5 and secure a stronghold in the game. Let's analyze the main line. Bishop takes c3 check played by van Batenburg. Pawn takes c3 leads us into French defense Wiener variation advance variation. Knight c6. Queen g4. Threatening. Queen takes g7. Queen a5. Bishop d2 and take decisive advantage. Let's go to the main line. On g6 played by van Batenburg. On h4. On h6. On a4. Queen a5. Threatening. Queen takes c3 check. King d1. Queen takes a1. Pawn takes c5. Knight ge7 and secure a stronghold in the game. Shifting to the main line. Bishop d2 played by Beerdsen. On c4. Queen d1. Bishop d7. Knight h3. On f5. Bishop e2. King castled queenside. Knight f4. Knight ge7. Queen c1. Rook df8. Queen a3. On g5. Threatening. On takes f4. On h5. King b8 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Shifting to the main variation. Knight h5 played by Beerdsen. On f4. Knight f6. Knight f5. On takes g5. On takes g5. Rook h7. Threatening. Knight takes d7. Rook takes h7. Knight takes f8. Rook h1 check. Bishop f1 and dominate the board. Shifting to the main line. Rook d8 played by van Batenburg. King castled queenside. Rook takes h7. Knight takes h7. Rook g8. Rook h1. Knight ce7. Rook h5. Bishop e8. Threatening. Bishop takes h5. Bishop takes h5. Rook h8 and gain a significant edge. Let's proceed to the main line. Rook takes g5 played by Beerdsen. Rook h8. Threatening. Rook takes h7. Bishop takes f4. Queen takes a4. Queen takes a4. Bishop takes a4. Pawn g4 and secure a stronghold in the game. Let's go to the main line. Knight f6 played by Beerdsen. Threatening. Knight takes e8. Rook takes e8. Bishop takes f4. Knight c6. Bishop d2 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Let's go to the main game. Rook h1 check played by van Batenburg. Bishop d1. Threatening. Knight takes e8. On f3. Knight d6 check and seize the initiative. Shifting to the main game. Bishop takes a4 played by van Batenburg. Queen c5 check. Queen takes c5. Pawn takes c5. On f3. Threatening. On d4. Pawn takes d4. Knight takes d4. Bishop c3. Knight e2 check. King d2 and secure a stronghold in the game. Let's proceed to the main game. Pawn g4 played by Beerdsen. Threatening. Pawn takes f5. Knight takes f5. Knight takes d5. Rook f1. Knight e3 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Let's proceed to the main game. Knight g3 played by Batenburg. Threatening. Knight e2 check. King b2. Rook takes d1. Bishop e3. Pawn d4 and seize the initiative. Let's analyze the main line. Bishop e3 played by Beerdsen. Threatening. Pawn takes g3. Bishop c6. Rook h5 and increase their advantage significantly. Let's explore the main variation. Knight e2 check played by Batenburg. King d2. Threatening. Rook h5. Rook g1. Bishop takes e2. Pawn takes e2. King takes e2. Rook b1 and increase their advantage significantly, shifting to the main variation. Pawn d4 played by Batenburg. Threatening. Pawn takes c3 mate. Let's proceed to the main variation. Bishop takes d4 played by Beerdsen. Knight takes d4. Pawn takes d4. Pawn c3 check. King c1. Bishop b5. Threatening. Bishop e2. King b1. Rook takes d1 check. King a2. Bishop c4 check. King a3, shifting to the main variation. Knight e4 played by Beerdsen. Threatening. Knight d6 check. King d8. Knight takes b5. Knight d5. Rook h5 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Let's go to the main line. Bishop e2 played by Batenburg. Threatening. Rook takes d1 mate. Let's explore the main variation. Knight takes c3 played by Beerdsen. Knight d5. Threatening. Knight takes c3. Rook h5. Rook takes d1 check. King b2. Knight d5 and gain a significant edge. Let's analyze the main variation. Knight takes d5 played by Beerdsen. Rook takes d1 check. King b2. Threatening. Rook g8 check. King d7. Knight f6 check. King c7. Pawn d5. Pawn takes d5 and seize the initiative. Let's proceed to the main line. Pawn takes d5 played by Batenburg. Pawn e6. King d8. Threatening. Rook takes d4. Rook g7. Rook e4 and dominate the board. Let's analyze the main variation. Rook takes d5 check played by Beerdsen. King e7. King c3. King takes e6. Rook d6 check. King e7. Pawn d5. Rook g1. Rook e6 check. King f7. Rook e4. Rook d1. Rook e5. King f6. Threatening. King takes e5. Pawn c6. Pawn takes c6. Pawn g5. King takes d5. Pawn g6 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Let's proceed to the main line. Rook f5 check played by Beerdsen. King e7. On g5. Rook g1. King d4. Rook g4 check. King e5. Bishop c4. On c6. Threatening. On d6 check. King e8. On takes b7. King d7. On promotes to queen at b8. King c6. Let's analyze the main variation. On takes c6 played by Van Batenburg. On takes c6. Bishop e6. Threatening. Bishop takes f5. King takes f5. Rook c4 and dominate the board. Let's analyze the main line. Rook takes f3 played by Beerdsen. Rook takes g5 check. King d4. Rook d5 check. King c3. Rook c5 check. King b4. Threatening. King takes c5. Bishop c8. Rook a3 and increase their advantage significantly. Let's analyze the main line. Rook takes c6 played by Van Batenburg. Rook a3. On a6. Think carefully what is the best move. Rook a5 top engine recommendation. King d6. King a3. King c7. King b2. King b6 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Let's analyze the main variation. Rook c3 losing move played by Beerdsen. Threatening. Rook takes c6. On a5 check. King takes a5. Bishop d5. Rook a6 and increase their advantage significantly. Let's go to the main game. On a5 check, Beerdsen saw no escape and decided to resign.